How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about a thing that's been on my mind for a little while, ever since this whole George Floyd kerfuffle has unfolded itself, and that is the copious amount of white guilt I'm seeing all over my timeline. I'm talking about Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube as well. Everywhere I'm seeing just so much white guilt. Now, before I get into it and before I tell you why it's a bad thing and shouldn't exist at all, I'm going to roll a few videos, probably 2 or 3, depending upon what I can grab up right now. After we get done watching those, I'll talk about what was done in those videos, why it's bad. Then I'll give you my 2 cents, my deep detail analysis, and then I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
About racism, anti-blackness, or violence.
About racism, anti-blackness, or violence.
I will use my voice in the most uplifting way possible.
I will use my voice in the most uplifting way possible.
And do everything in my power to educate my community.
And do everything in my power to educate my community.
I will love my black neighbors the same as my white ones.
I will love my black neighbors the same as my white.
Excuse me. Hey, excuse me. I work for Black Lives Matter.
Sure.
I'm sorry. I work for Black Lives Matter. I'm sorry that I scared you.
That's okay.
But since I work for that company, my CEO has told me to come out today and to bring you on your knees because you have white privilege. So if they see that a white person is getting on their knees, that shows solidarity for the situation. And could you just please apologize for your white privilege? Just apologize.
I am. I'm trying to think of the right words to say because that's a big thing to say.
It's big.
Comes from.
It's large in this country.
I'm incredibly sorry that.
You know, with this country, we have that President Donald Duck, that clown in office. You know, he's brought a lot of bigotry, and you're not a part of it, right?
No, God, jeez.
No. And so,
Thank
just.
you for letting me have a moment to reflect.
Okay, you have a great day.
All right, you saw those videos. You see what's happening now. I'm not really sure where to begin. Let's start with the one where they were at the college. That was in Bethesda, Maryland. That's where they were reciting that thing to the one guy that you didn't see. That was crazy. First of all, that was a student-led, quote-unquote, protest. And again, protest, rioters, same thing, because those people on the ground give cover and give excuses for those that go out there, loot, shoot, rob, steal, kill. You understand what I'm saying? That's how that works. All right. That's part of the reason why it's a bad thing, but I'll get to that in a moment. That was a disgusting display. You had like almost 1,000 people on their hands and knees, hands up, basically just beating themselves in the ground. Okay. You don't need to do that. It doesn't matter what color you are. If you didn't do anything to somebody, then why are you apologizing? Why are you trying to be so apologetic? For what? You didn't do anything. It's not your fault. Don't feel any guilt if you're white, black, or whatever. And you know what? I also do see some black guilt that's going on too. You know, a lot of black folks that grew up in more well-to-do households in the suburbs and whatnot, they see those of us that have come from the street or that are still in the street, they kind of look down upon us, but they think that they're looking in a way like it's empathy. They're looking down, but it's like empathy, and then they overcompensate when we do bad things. You know, shout out to Candace Owens. She was talking about this. It was in the book that she read. I forget the book. But one point that the author of the book made is that in the black community, we tend to give our miscreants, our cretins, the lowest of us, the most elevation. We put them on high pedestals. Guys that then beat old ladies in the head, rob little kids or whatever, we put them on a high pedestal because we feel guilty because they're in that position. They grew up in poverty, single parent household, whatever. So we try to put them on a high pedestal. It's just like when somebody come home from the penitentiary in the black community, sometimes, a lot of time, most of the time, they get a party, they get all kind of celebration, all kind of daps and hugs. But when you come home from college, it ain't the same way. And okay, you kind of just like, okay, whatever, it's no real big deal. But that's a different story, different video. So I digress. My whole point is that there is black guilt just as there is white guilt. But the white guilt is more damaging because white Americans have the largest voting bloc. They are the majority population. So when you see a white woman get on her knees and apologize just basically for being white, like what does that come from? Is it from the education that they learn in school, college? Does it come from their household? And if that's going on, and that's the majority population, we're pretty much doomed. Okay. Now, the good thing about it is white Americans, Asians, and everybody else don't have the monolithic voting bloc that is kind of there among black folks. Not quite there. It's like 85-15 or 80-20, maybe like 95-5. When I say that, I mean 95-5, 90-10, Democrat, Republican. Among whites, it's like 50-50, give or take a little bit, depending upon the year and the situation in the country. So luckily, it's not all of them. But if that's some of them, a large portion of them, that's going to be a problem for us coming up in the future. Think about like this. Who's going to be your governor? Who's going to be your mayor? Okay, you may have a black person, white person, or whatever, but look at the odds. If you have a state that's like 80% white, 10% black, 10% Hispanic, you have 80% chance of a person coming from that state, if they are from the state, becoming an elected official. Just by the numbers. I ain't talking about anything else, any other factor, just based upon the population number, 80%. So that's going to be an issue. And if 40% of the total 100 come from that kind of household, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a serious problem. Now, I think you see more of that kind of white guilt in some of the more urban areas and not so much in the country areas. But regardless of where it comes from, it's a problem. My personal take on white guilt is there's no need for it. You didn't do anything. It's not your fault. You didn't hurt me. So you have nothing to be worried about, nothing to be apologizing for. Same thing for the black folks that are feeling guilty. Okay. You might have came from the suburbs, 2-parent household. I come from the hood, 1-parent household, like I did. Might be surprised, but I did. So you may feel kind of like bad for me if I'm in a bad position in my life, but don't feel bad for me. All you can really do, and the best thing you could do, is just be a normal person. Be yourself. That's it. Don't do anything special. Like, don't treat me any better or worse than anybody else. Treat me the same. That's really what it is. I'm seeing all kind of things on Twitter, and I'm not sure if it's real or fake. There was one post I saw that probably was fake, but it could have been real. Somebody was like, we got to treat animals the same way we treat black people, meaning, you know, the dogs and whatnot that get abused in shelters. We got to really protect them. We have to protect animal rights the same as black rights. It's like, really? So now I'm the equivalent to a dog, to a pet or something like that. Last time I checked, I was a human being. Treat me the same as a human being. That's it. If I do wrong, then I do wrong. If I do right, then I do right. I don't need anything above or below what you would give anybody else. And really, I don't need anything from you. Okay. The only time I would need something from you is if I'm in a working situation and you're the boss or something like that. Okay. But that's not going to always be the case. You got black bosses with white employees. All right. That's the thing that really happens. You got Hispanic bosses, Asian bosses, or whatever. This is America. I don't like the narrative of the white man and woman being just like this dominant force that can't be overtaken. Like a black person can't do well, an Hispanic person can't do well, an Asian person can't do well, if not for the goodwill of a white person. I don't like that. The kind of vibe I get when I hear stuff like that is of a white supremacist. You know, it's weird. I've been in little debates with people. You guys probably know what I'm talking about. And they sit there and talk about all the reasons why the black community is in a bad shape and what can be done to fix it. But a lot of it just centers around white man bad, orange man bad, that kind of thing. It's like, well, you can't really do anything. There's nothing you can do as a white person or a non-black person to help us, except for just voting the right way. And the things you could do to help us as black folks will also help the nation in general. Lower taxes helps everybody. Lower minimum wage or no minimum wage helps everybody. You know, low regulations helps everyone. The things that you can do to help us will help the entire nation. So don't focus on just helping us. Focus on helping the entire nation. I think it's up to black folks to fix problems that are in the community ourselves. Okay. External people can't come in and try to fix the family for us. They can't make us get married to our significant other when we have kids. We got to do that on our own. So it's going to take us being here, doing things to make that be the case. It doesn't matter how many of these white guilt protests and whatnot you go to, is not going to make a difference. So as I close, I want to say this. There's no need for the white guilt. Don't feel guilty. Just be yourself. That's it. I don't ask for anything more or anything less that you would get for somebody else. Just respect, just basic respect. Like when I go to the grocery store, I don't care who's behind me or what, I hold the door, you know, so they can come in. I'm a respectful person, regardless of who you are. I treat everybody the same. That's it. I don't care if you are black, white, Puerto Rican, candy stripe, if you are able-bodied, disabled, I don't care. I don't care who you are, what you are. I treat everybody the same. You know, even if you're a baby, I talk to you as an adult. You understand what I'm saying? Because I talk to, I'm the same. I'm not trying to cater to anybody or to a specific group. I don't do that. The same way I am right now on this video is the same way I am just walking around every day. You would get the exact same conversation from me, but I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that the white guilt is getting out of control, and is it a problem? Could it be a political issue? Like I said, if you got 80 to 90% whites in the area and a lot of them are like that, it could pose some serious problems with your, you know, with your particular place you live at. I think California would be a good example. All right. People want to just try to blame whiteness or whatever. We got to get down to the core of what makes you tick and focus on that, and not so much on the race of a person. Am I on point here? Am I off point here? Do you think that this whole thing of white supremacy is real? And if we don't squash that, then we're going to always be doomed. To anyone that thinks that way, what is white supremacy? People want to give me all kind of, you know, nebulous answers, all this, that, and the third, but they don't really want to jump out the window and say exactly what it is. I want to know what it is so I'm able to defend against it if it comes across me, and if I ever have to defeat it myself in my own walk in life. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.